What up? What up on this red pill stuff?
Yeah, got another red pill for y'all, respectfully. Uh H, go ahead and put out the first topic.
So first, we're going to speak on, excuse me, the big controversy that's going on with Paul Pierce. Retired NBA player, Hall of Fame player, um, released a video. Um, I want to point out that he put it out. I'm going to make that clear up front. He was the one who put it out. But the video first, first when it came out. And this is why the internet and the media is just so bugged out. First, it was reported that when it put out that he was somewhere getting a haircut, then it turned into that he was playing poker with some buddies or whatever. But anyway, in the video, um, he doing what he do. Some people say that there was some parts of the video where he was smoking weed, which I don't know why the hell that matters, because they're trying to make weed legal in all these states. Everyone's coming out with their own strand of weed anyway, so I don't really see why that matters. But he was, he had some women around him. There were some women that were twerking. There were some women that were dancing. Women in bikinis, whatever, however way you want to call it, phrase it. There was one portion where a young lady was massaging his shoulders. So that went out and went viral. There were so many people, everyday people, celebrities, sports players, just everybody commenting on it, making fun of him, making their little jokes and things like that. So it was reported yesterday that he and ESPN were parting ways, meaning basically they fired him. And I did hear this morning through a podcast that the reasoning for them firing him was because he posted video himself. Their words were basically like, if it was that someone else had put the video out, it would have been like, all right, so, he didn't have nothing to do with it. Someone else put it out. We can't fault him for that. But because he was the one who actually put it out, that's why they went ahead and fired him. Um, Now we're bringing this up because we're gonna speak on the difference with how men get treated and the standard that they have to uphold when it comes to certain things, but also just speak on the certain things that certain people have been saying about him and making comments towards him on things that ultimately don't really matter. So that's basically the breakdown of everything that's been going on with Paul Pierce. So um, I'm gonna kick it to my partner to get his first real thoughts on it, and then we'll go a little bit further.
But I want you to speak on some of the things you seen people saying because remember we wanted to talk about that as well. What you said
Yeah.
about the podcast.
Well, one of the things that I was seeing where people were saying, jumping on the whole case of, oh, he's a married man. Why is he around strippers? He's a married man. Why is he have exotic dancers around him? Why? Why? He's smoking weed, playing cards with exotic dancers around him. And the first thing I thought was, well, since when was it against the law for a married man to go to a strip club or to play poker with women around? When did that become? I didn't see anywhere in when you get your marital license where it says, "Oh, you're married, so you can't go to strip clubs anymore." Oh, you can't go play poker with your buddies and have women dancing in the background. So I just don't understand why there was this big ass emphasis on he's a married man. Oh man, he's doing his wife so wrong. Well, how the hell we don't know that his wife didn't know he was at the poker game? How do we not know that? And how do we know what's his status anyway? Him and his wife could be divorcing, or him and his wife could be split. We don't know all that. So that was one of the first things where it was like everyone was jumping on this man's case, saying this and that about his marriage. When it's like, what does that matter? What does that matter anyway? And then, the other thing that really caught me was, the emphasis of how men are, how men are, how men are. And it's like, all right, aren't we seeing a growing number and rising of women doing things like that? I see it all the time on the internet. I see people doing their parties, man, I've seen women doing their damn baby shower in a strip club. A baby shower. A woman and a bunch of her female friends, baby shower, strippers everywhere. So it's like they coming down on this man because he had a video with women twerking, and that's why there's all this uproar. So it just makes me think, not to go there, but if it was a woman analyst that was doing this, would we be having so much of an uproar about it?
But you made a good point, pre-show when you were saying who is the normal customer in strip clubs.
Right. Who makes up the normal average person that you see in a strip club? A married man. That I mean, if we're just being honest and being real and quit out all this fake nonsense, married men. If you go in a strip club and you see 10 men, out of those 10 men, how many of those men gonna be married? At least 6 out of the 10 or 7. If we being real, that's what a large majority of the bankrolling comes from, married men. So why is this such an issue? Why is this such a thing? Whether we're talking about him being there with women dancing, because I don't remember seeing out of any of the videos where he was doing anything that was quote unquote not safe for work. It wasn't like he was pulling his Johnson out. It wasn't like he was telling the women to suck something. It wasn't like he was pulling their lingerie off. He wasn't doing any of that. Go ahead, man.
He said suck so.
I mean, and hey, I'm channeling Pimp C on this one. Uh,
I mean, so the problem with this is, all right, let's go to the first thing. He shouldn't have put the video out. Of course, we know that. It was it was stupid because in a time like this, a man just being a man, a lot of women have a problem with that. And he was it wasn't being smart because you
right.
already know manhood is under an attack right now. We can't even just have a healthy conversation about how men can do better for women no more. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like they say, moving the goalpost. It's like, okay, it went from man should not be able to just cheat on their wife, not be able to just put their hands on the wife, get a divorce and leave her high and dry. Those, or she can't work. Those were the main four things that women had an issue with. And they threw a couple in there, but it was with respect. Like, don't just have me being the only one involved in our children's lives. If something's going wrong, that I really need your help as a father. Like, especially if it's our son, he out here wilding and I need you to talk to him. You can be involved in that. Don't let him just do stuff and be out here throwing his life away. I respected that too. But now it's gotten to the point where we can't say, like when Stephen A. Smith was okay before he started buffooning. I'm gonna say that when he said what he said about the woman, like he said, first of all, he was like, if a man put their hands on one of my sisters, me and my brother's gonna go drag him. But he also came back and said, but at the same time, women, we need y'all to be safe and be careful about trying to fight a man back. That was with the Ray Rice and his wife situation. And it was like, she's standing around here trying to duke it out. Why would you do that instead of calling the police if it's that bad, or one of your family members? Most of all, leaving him alone. Get away from him. Women had a problem with that. One of his ESPN co-workers tweeted at him because he was wrong and all that, and they suspended him 2 weeks without pay. And that's where it's a problem at now. So not only can you stand up for what's right and say, just be careful. It's like if the police came to your house and God forbid somebody broke in your home, you know what I'm saying? But come to find out, You leave your door open all the time. You're talking about, oh, I just ran to the store real quick, and you had your door open with just the screen door closed, and then somebody broke into your house. So the police will tell you, you gotta be careful, and then when they tell you, make sure you lock up. That would be like somebody getting mad who's a victim saying, "Why should I have to lock my front door just because somebody gonna break in it?" Because that's common sense. We don't live in a world that's 100% perfect. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, they say it used to be days back in the days where you could do that, leave a screen door open while you go run to the store. Because I remember back in the days when I used to come to people's house, this is 90s. I'd be going to a friend's house, you know what I'm saying? I ain't that old. But I'd go to a friend's house, screen door open, he ran to the store or something, and I'd wait till he get back. And it was nothing. And nowadays, it's not like that. So when people say this to women, they have a problem with it. So when Paul Pierce did what he did, it's like, my brother, you should have known better. Why would you put out a video with you and strippers smoking and drinking? Because they're gonna say that's that toxic energy. There's no more comfortable places for men to just be men like that nowadays. Because I remember the first time this happened. This was like early 2000. It probably had to be like 2005. And I remember it was this huge strip club back in the days called Bottoms Up. So, I remember my cousin went there a couple of times, and then I remember this one time it was females in there. I said, "Ooh, snap! It's gonna be a change." The next thing you know, you started seeing women coming to the strip club instead of with their men, they go with their girlfriends to have fun. Some of them, their girlfriends might be a stripper, so they're going and throwing dollars at them, which is, it's all good. But the problem is what I like, my people used to love going to regular clubs. I didn't. Because when you go to the regular club, you don't know what you're gonna get. You go to try to holler at a woman, she may not want to holler at you, blase squatter. You go to a strip club, you know what it is. Now you go to a strip club, a chick dressed provocative and say you think she's a stripper and she's not, you can get slapped. So now it's like you can't go do certain things. But like I said, that's Paul Pierce's fault because he shouldn't have released that video. It's nobody's business what you're doing to a person. And then it's a pandemic going on. So they could have talked trash about that. Matter of fact, ESPN could have fired him for that, so you wasn't being safe. You can bring that back to
Right.
the studio and give somebody else, what I'm saying, the virus, God forbid, if you would have caught it. So,
That's the thing that he messed up by him releasing it himself, because I did hear, I believe it was Rob Parker, on his podcast with Chris Broussard say, who are you trying to prove something to? We know you rich. We know you got millions and millions and millions of dollars. We know you're an NBA player. All that kind of stuff comes with that NBA lifestyle. So, what is the use or the point of you putting that video out for? Who are you trying to look hard for, look cool for? Because we already know that's everyday life for an NBA or NFL player. We already know that. So, I do feel like it was definitely an error of judgment on his part, and it's something that he's probably going to regret in the future. It's not that he's hurting for money or anything, but he's definitely going to probably think to himself, why did I put that video out? I didn't even need to do that. But on the subject that you were saying about the whole stripper thing and people making so much big deal about that, there are a lot of men whose girlfriend, fiance, wife accompany them to the strip club, who will go to their man and say, "Hey, let's go to the strip club next week," or we'll say, "Hey, you having a party? You want to have?" It's some women who are in relationships with men who encourage that. So once again, I just can't believe that in today's time that was such a big issue. I just don't understand it, why it was such a big issue.
and don't forget, nowadays, you have to be careful after what happened with T.I. and Tiny. Even in those situations, you have to be careful nowadays because, they was
Hmm.
inviting other women into their bedroom. And now there's one woman, and people not looking at it. They just believe in her whole story, but they're not looking at the part, both sides. When Ti Tiny and I forget her friend name should Tia or should something. I forget her name, but they all gave accounts that this lady that's saying what they did was wrong. It's crazy in a nutshell. Like she was around here trying to fight people and all this. Like they're not looking at that where she is a problem. So that lets you know in this situation you can't do nothing but protect yourself. When you have so much to lose and you dealing with people who don't have nothing to lose, and of course, certain people might take that as wrong for me saying that, but it's the truth. When you're around people that have nothing to gain in life, no matter how much you try to help them, you have to get away from them. And that's just the honest God truth. You have to get away from certain people. So he did something, and no offense to these scrippers, you never know, they might be in school for law, being a doctor, you don't know. But they basically got more nothing to lose, and you got more to lose than they do. So I take this as is a teachable lesson, especially for guys who get into the money. Don't be
Right.
stupid.
And you don't have to prove nothing to nobody because, like Parker said, the purpose of him putting this out. I mean, yeah, maybe he just put it out because maybe he was putting it out to his homeboys or something that he was just, hey, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time, man. I'm chilling, But like you said, he has so much to lose. And, working for Disney, when you work for these companies, you work for these white folks, you definitely got to know every single thing that you do as a black man is under the biggest microscope, the hugest microscope. So when you are working for these white companies, as they say, you got to be on your best behavior. As a grown man, you definitely got to be on your best behavior because any little small thing that they can do, that they can see to take that paycheck away from you that they're giving you, they're gonna do it.
But I mean, you can see why things like this are important. That's just like I forget, was it the owner? It was the owner of the Nets or somebody. They went and was getting trying to get massage happy endings and got caught up in all this mess. So that shows you that nobody's perfect. All them owners that's doing that, they do their same thing too. But if you get caught, like look at Martha Stewart, what she did, everybody does that got money in her position. And make it so bad, Martha Stewart ended up doing a year and a day because she was trying to protect $50,000. Come to find out, she only had $60,000 that she risked losing. That was it. At this time, Martha Stewart was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and you were so cheap that you wouldn't let them keep $50,000. So you went to do a year and a day and fed for $50,000. This is what people got to realize. You got some people being too tight, and you got some people being too loose, and that's our whole thing on this is man being more careful when you got stuff to lose. All right, so H, we going to
Exactly.
go to the next topic, man. Let's keep it pushing.
All right. So the next topic is I got this straight from complex.com, but you can find this in the AP news.com, a lot of different news outlets, but it's regarding the state of Utah. Utah is passing a law that requires the biological dad to pay prenatal child support. Basically meaning if you are the biological father, the out of pocket pregnancy costs that aren't covered for a woman, for women who have, medical health care, maybe insurance through their job, whatever out of pocket expenses that are not covered, the biological father is responsible for. That's a huge, huge thing and it's reporting that Utah appears to be the first state, ever to mandate prenatal child support. So, um, there are they did say there are a few other states, including Wisconsin and New York, that have provisions that can result in a father being financially responsible for pre-birth expenses, but nothing to this extent of, putting a law into place. And it does state that if the paternity of the child is disputed, the father won't be required to pay until after the paternity is established. And then it says the father, sorry, the father also wouldn't be financially responsible for the cost of an abortion received without his consent unless it's necessary to prevent the death of the mother or if the pregnancy was the result of a rape. So that's another key part of it, that the father won't be responsible for an abortion that didn't have his consent. So that's a very 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 huge uh bill or law, excuse me, that got passed in the state of Utah. And when I saw it, it was kind of getting glossed over, for some of the other news that's out there today. And not saying that the other news isn't important, but this is something to look at. I know Utah, they have different views out there because they have a lot of Mormons and things like that. But this is something that other states, could be looking at, or other states could be, following suit. So I thought that this was a huge, huge thing, that men need to look at and think about, when we were just speaking about being careful, watching what you do. This is something else that, should really hit men in the face. Like, all right, got to be careful with what you're doing out here. Go ahead, Jake. Brother Jay, where you at? Brother Jay, get off me.
Do you always got to say something, man? I can cut that out. All right. Anyways, so I was going
Hey, I
to,
thought you were asleep. I thought you had fell asleep over there.
man, it's always the mute button, man. My screen be disappearing. Anyway, let's stop talking about that because I'm gonna cut that out later. So,
Oh
uh,
man.
so I was gonna wait, but I guess we might as well throw that in there now. This brings me to another good point. When they say that men get away with whatever they want to get away with, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no repercussions.
Mm.
All right, that's BS. This is a repercussion for a man. This is not the
Mm.
repercussion on a woman. And what's so sad is for years, for decades, when me and my partner was born, it was already things put into place where men could not just get away with just leaving a woman high and dry. But this is the thing women got to think about. 80% of marriages that file in divorce are filed from women. So this is another step on repercussions for men. So it's not the same as it used to be, like back in the days. Matter of fact, H is does it say who name is on that bill? Because normally they put the senator or politician name that who wanted to push that bill forward. So I'm just
It
wondering,
just
like,
says that Governor Spencer Cox, who is a Republican, signed the proposal. And
Governor Cox, it doesn't.
then it says Republican Rep Randy Bremer said, yeah, it just looks like it's just showing in this particular, what I'm reading from the AP News, it just is speaking on Spencer Cox, who signed the proposal.
But it doesn't say. Oh, what I'm saying, like guys,
I mean, it was the guy who signed it, but
and I mean that's a perfect point. Who do you think that supports more, guys or women?
oh, I mean, we know that answer. I mean, when it comes to anything involving child support, we already know who's pushing for that. We already know who's pushing that men need to pay more, men need to do this, men need to do that. So that goes without saying.
Right, and see, and that's my point. Is it's like when they say we get away with whatever, right? That shows another side that it's not true. When they just try to make it seem like we just around here getting away with murder, and it's like that's not true. That's another thing that shows also, like you just said earlier, why Paul Pierce situation, that needs to be a learning lesson. But
Now,
sadly enough,
I want to
oh
throw
my bad,
this
go
in
ahead.
here to you really quickly to get your response on this because this is something that I didn't even see from the first report. Now, peep this. This is coming from Gabriella. I'm gonna mess up her last name, so I'm gonna just leave it out. My apologies on that. Um, she said. Now, this is where we're going into the domestic abuse portion of this bill. It says domestic abuse tends to escalate during pregnancy, and seeking these costs could further increase stressors about financially supporting a baby, said Gabriella Archuleta, who's a public policy analyst with the YWCA of Utah, which provides services to domestic violence survivors. See how the woman threw that in there, and that's something big as well. You know, some people they hate to talk about things that are real, but that statement is real. During pregnancies for certain couples who may not be financially stable or financially where they want or need to be or struggling financially, that's going to bring another headache or argument point or whatever when you already not doing so well right now, but when you bring a child into it, that's even more financial squabbling and financial fighting that you're going to do. So that's something else that needs to be brought up, and I thought was a very, very good point. And something else that Miss Archuleta said, she said that it is looking like we have to look at who this bill is really addressing, because she said that this will most more than likely, she's not saying this for sure, but it will likely only serve women who are wealthier or have wealthy partners, because that's a very good point. If you have a pregnant by a man who is struggling or whatever, having him having to worry about this new child support law, bill, whatever you want to call it, is going to stress homeboy out even more. Now, I'm not excusing any erratic or crazy behavior that homeboy may have, but that's just a fact. It's going to be another stressor on the man.
But see, but that's the thing. Two things in that, like what we say about Paul Pierce situation, guys to learn from it, and then also to show proof that it's more catering towards the women. But this is the thing; it's not like it used to be back in the day. So when women say, um, "Oh, you want to go back to the '50s and men being able to treat and hurt women physically and all that," listen, a lot of women that are saying that around our age, and a lot of these women didn't come up seeing this. This is where it's bull. Like what Kevin Samuel said, he wasn't seeing that growing up. Not like that. Like you may had cases like that in the neighborhood, but guess what? Dudes that did that to women were frowned upon. If you had to put your hands on a woman, you was frowned upon. Men didn't respect you for doing that. They stayed away from men like that. So when they say, oh, men was doing that, it wasn't prevalent like that at the time that women are saying. If you was born late '70s and up, we wasn't seeing that like that. Because if you did see that, guess what happened? Those guys usually got their behind beat by the daddy, uncles, brothers, cousins, and guy friends. They wasn't just around here being able to beat up dudes. And guess what you were seeing? You seen dudes getting killed or going to prison for that. I lost somebody very dear and close to my heart because they was in a situation about a man being like that, being abusive to a woman. And the man got his butt whooped, and he pulled out a gun, tried to shoot the person who got beat his butt, and ended up shooting somebody that was close to me. So when they say why men don't do this no more, it's because women out here living foul like that nowadays, and men stay away from it. Or you got women that won't leave. So men decided because of that to no longer
like, I'm gonna go ahead and run out here and beat up somebody. And this is what women have to listen to as well. When y'all saying, "Oh, men don't protect black women," if you look at the women that are saying it, I'm sorry, but a lot of women that are saying it are these so-called modern women that think they can do whatever they want. But you can't tell a man when to be a man and when not to be a man. If you want that protection, you're gonna have to be around guys who don't give a damn and just want to fight anyways. And that always ends up bad. The only guys I see that will still do that nowadays is the guys that like to fight. So when a woman go out there and acting unaccordingly the way she should be acting and staying in her lane, guess what happens? They usually got the crazy thug dude that just wants to fight. That's usually the only dudes that still gonna protect these type of women because they're going out here doing the wrong thing. Presentable, respectable, decent man like me and my partner don't deal with women like that. We try our best to stay away from women like that or get away from women like that. You're not gonna keep putting me in these situations of physical harm because you feel like today you just want to be a bitc. We're not going for that no more. But at the same time, back to what I was saying before, for all the women that says there's no repercussions for men, this is proof that there are more repercussions for men. Just like I was listening to this old Bill Burr podcast last night, and this guy wrote in a letter, and he's from the UK, from Britain. He was dealing with this chick, and he wanted to be in this type of special units military service over there in Britain, and he was supposed to be gone for a little while. Now they was together for like 2 years, and she was staying in his house that his mother gave him, right? So he's gonna go off to this military service, and he was like he's been wanting to do this since he was 14. So he got in, and sadly, a month after he got in there, he got injured. So they was like, you can stay here and recover, or you can just take a year off and recover. And he was like, well, let me go back to my woman, you know what I'm saying? Let's spend some time together stuff. He said he went to surprise her. He comes in the house and she's giving I'm not gonna say the other word, but I'm saying she was putting in work with her talking piece. And he caught her doing that. So he was like he was hurt, so he couldn't. He was on crutches, so he couldn't fight the guy. Which I don't know why you would fight a guy. It's not unless you knew him. There's no reason for you to put your hands on him. Even if you knew him, he did you a favor. So he said he forced them out of the house, and then a week or so later, a month later, she gave him a lawyer letter stating that either he has to take her back or he has to give her half of everything he has. Now, mind you, they're not even married. They wasn't even married, but she can sue that he has to sell the house and give her half because she was staying with him. Now, explain to me how that's fair. Explain to me how that helps the man versus that's helping the woman. She can turn around and sue him for that. Look at California. If you get married to a woman and she has kids, after y'all get a divorce, even if she can't get alimony, guess what she can get? She can get child support because you're the father that those kids knew. How do you implement something like that? How is that fair? So for all the women that says that, you got child support, you got alimony payments, and the reason why I can bring this up because guess what? 85% of people on child support are men. So you got alimony payments because 80% of women file for divorce. Then you got child support payments. 85% of men on child support. Then you got women and children shelters and women's shelters that are free. The regular shelter
Mm.
have to pay $5 a night just to stay there, which is usually men. They have to pay $5 a night to even stay there. If not, that's why you see so many homeless people on the streets. So you got that. You got WIC. You got housing. So
Got WIC
men,
and housing.
EBT, food stamp. So
And that's huge to point out, not to cut you off, but that's huge to point out because they always saying, and I said this to my partner earlier about the essentials: food, clothing, shelter. Those are the most essential things to your living. Women can get the EBT food stamps. That's taking care of food. The shelter, they can get housing. Some of these women get apartments or houses, 3, 4, 5 bedroom, nice apartments, nice houses. Some of them get it for free. Some of them have to pay $20 a month. I knew a lady personally that was paying like $30 a month for a big fat ass house, 5 bedrooms, $30 a month. So You get the food for free, the shelter for damn near free, and then the clothing. With all this extra money you got, you could go rip and run and buy all the clothes you want. So women are taken care of on the essentials: food, clothing, shelter, water. They're covered on that. Can a man be covered? No. And my partner just made a huge point about the homeless shelters. The women can stay there for free. A man at the shelters has to pay every day. So he has to go out there and find a way, even though he's homeless and don't have nothing, he still got to find some kind of way to have somewhere to stay at that night. Some kind of way to get that five. Some may charge $10 a night. I don't know. But all that, and the women want to say that they have the cards stacked up against them. No.
Now, the reason why we bring this up, now somebody might say, well, if a man was handling his business, maybe a woman wouldn't need all this stuff. What we're saying, the reason why we're bringing it up is because when they say the cards are stacked against women and there's no repercussions for men, think about that. You went out and had a child, didn't even get married most of the time, because 75%, especially black homes, are just single mothers. It's matriarchal. So this woman went out and had a baby by a man, didn't get married, didn't make sure he was a suitable provider and protector. And instead of her having to take care of her own responsibilities, whether the man is there or not, the government is there to help her. That's what we're saying. Regardless of what the woman does, the government is supposed to help her. That's what we're saying. The man, he go have a child. The government ain't helping him. The government is forcing him to be responsible more than the woman. That's what we're saying. Okay, so you say, all right, the woman is normally going to be the one with the child. Well, guess what? It's a lot of men that are fighting to have custody of their children, and then normally the courts are still going to side with the woman regardless of what happened. Like Chris Rock situation. Let's give an example for that. Now, mind you, Chris Rock
What
got married
about
to
the
his
two
wife.
brothers on this platform? The
Oh,
two
wait,
brothers on this
hold on.
platform.
Hold on, wait. No. We're gonna go with an example everybody know. Chris
Okay.
Rock, he got married. He has 2 or 3 kids. He was going through divorce with his wife. He said he cheated on a couple of times. She found out, so they go to court. And I got to correct that. It was my bad. The top reason for divorce is not financial, it's cheating, but it's one of the top ones. All right, cool. So, it's the truth. So it's the truth. I'm going to side with the truth. Facts. But they going through a divorce. Even though he has been a good father, guess what? The wife still was fighting him for full custody and child support payments. Even though he he provides everything. He let her have the house. He went and bought a house that's 5 to 10 minutes away, not too far around the corner. What he said, y'all can go see this on Netflix, YouTube. Netflix is a joke. You can just look it up. Chris Rock on divorce and being a father. So he's in court fighting to have partial custody of his kids. Guess what they do? They tell him that we need pictures of the beds and the bedrooms that the children are going to be sleeping in. We need you to give us pictures of food and drink in the refrigerator that you're going to have sufficient food to feed your own kids. And it was funny because
This
he was
man
like,
fucking rich.
but check this out. He said, he was like, what have you heard about me? He said, I'm Chris Rock, not Chris Brown. So I'm saying that to say this. Even though we know Chris Rock has been rich since like 87, 88, he's been rich since then. He was on Saturday Night Live. He had successful stand-up specials. He's actually the first person to go platinum with a comedy album. He's had been in successful movies like, what I'm saying, with Eddie Murphy, to being in successful movies with Adam Sandler, been in successful movies with Ben Stiller. You know what I'm saying? He's been in all the Madagascar cartoons, which gross over billions of dollars. He was in Grown Ups 1 and 2, billions of dollars. The man, he got the money and he's been providing. But after the divorce, now they're looking at the father like he's an idiot. He's not going to be able to provide. Even though we know that's most likely not true, but she's building a case with her lawyers to get whatever she can get because she's mad and pissed off. So these are the repercussions of men, even when they are high earners and they take care of their responsibilities. Puffy was paying $90,000 a month for child support to both of his baby mothers. So Dr. Dre, he has to give up half of his stuff to his ex-wife. He said, "Fuck it, let her have it." After he had his, close call, God forbid, in the hospital and all, he was like, "Man, just let her have it. I don't even want to be stressed out no more." Kevin Hart, his baby mama his ex-wife wanted $10 million. Let her have it. He was like, "Man, I'm happy. I found a woman of my dreams who I want. I'm moving on with my life. If that's what she wants, she can have it." And guess what? After he gave that $10 million, a few years later, he's worth over $100 million. And I tell people that's going through divorce, whatever your wife trying to get, let her get it and get it over with, or try to work something out so y'all don't have to deal with lawyers, so you can go on about your business, because the lawyers drag it out to make the money. They're trying their best to make much money as they can, and they'll tell you not to talk to your ex spouse, even though that's probably the best thing to do. But guess what? The men are going to go through it more than the woman is going to go through it. I'm sorry, but that's reality. There's more men in prison. It's more men that commit suicide. It's more men that get killed in homicidal situations. It's more men that get beat up. It's more men that's homeless. All the repercussions that women say don't happen to men is a lie. We have repercussions that's different. But to think that your repercussions are worse is not true. Overall, men's repercussions are worse. H, I know we got one more topic to talk about that you gonna bring up. Bring up that last topic.
All right. I just wanted to bring up something that I saw on the internet that I shared with my partner about, since we're speaking on the men and women relationship topic. I just saw this meme that basically, to paraphrase it, it was saying that children don't just look at the way a man talks and treats to the woman in the household. They also look at how the woman talks and treats to the man. And I thought that was a very profound meme, being that there's so much emphasis that's placed on how a man talks and treats. They say, oh, well, if the man is in the house, he has to set a certain example and he has to be a certain type of role model because the children are looking up to him. They're looking at how he talk to mama and how he treat mama and the things he do for mama and if he makes mama smile. But we never hear the reverse. We never hear about how the children will be looking at the way that the woman talks to him, or the way the woman treats him, or if she cussing him out, or if she throwing things at him, or if she making him feel good. So I really just think that, why isn't that talked about more? You have countless and countless uh, podcasts, shows, radio shows, all these little things out there about how a man treats a woman, why the men need to step their game up, the men need to do this, the men need to learn better, the men need to be better and do better, be there and all that. But it's never talking about how the woman talks to and treats the man in the household with the kids looking at. Because the children are looking at both. Yes, they're gonna look at, if unfortunately, if the man is beating up mama, which should not be tolerated. No man should be putting their hands on any woman at all, no matter how mad she makes you. But also in the reverse, no woman should be putting her hands on the man. The woman shouldn't be cussing out the man, shouldn't be talking to the man any kind of way, shouldn't be bossy and sassy all the time, telling him what to do. It's my way or the highway. What mama says goes. We need to start thinking about how the woman talks to and treats the man as well, because let's just take cheating out of it, because that's going to be the go-to. Oh. If he cheat, okay, let's take cheating out of it. If a woman is talking to a man a certain way and treating him a certain way, it ain't got to be all the time that he's going to cheat on her. He's going to leave her ass. That's what's missing there. But then we're going to get into a situation where, oh, the daddy left, or he just left us. No, he didn't leave the children. He left the woman, because the woman was talking to him and treating him any kind of way. So that meme really stuck out to me, and really, I just really hope that there's more driving points and more shows and podcasts about how a woman treats a man and how the children are going to look at that as well. Because if you got a young daughter and she's walking around looking at how the mom treating the dad, not saying that she will 100% of the time, but a large percentage, if the girl is looking up to the mother, she going to think that's the way to be. and then she gonna go into her relationships and gonna talk that like that and act like that in the future, and see where that gets her, and see where that ends up getting her. So I just thought that that was a very, very good point, and it wasn't a man who put that meme out there. It was a female who put that out there. I wanted to point that out as well. It was a female that said that. So you can give your thoughts on that.
Well, this this is the thing we gotta realize and consider. So if a woman is dealing with a man, because women will also say, well, women stay with men when men do them any kind of way, cheating on them, abusing them and stuff. They they stay with a guy. So why can't a guy stay with a woman that does it? And
Well, that's
this
your
is
choice. That's your choice for
I was
staying
just
with the man.
I was just about to say that. This is what women have to think about. Because when guys say, because this is what we say to guys too. Why would you stay with somebody that would make you act out? Why would you stay with somebody that you feel cuts you so deep that you'll put your hands on them? We tell guys the same thing. This is what women don't realize. The reason why men say this to women, stuff like this nowadays, is because we say that to guys. Women want this whole equality. That's equality. If you're an adult, you're able bodied, why would you stay with somebody who brings the worst out of you? That's what we was telling guys. We matter of fact, we laugh at dudes that stay with a woman that put her hands on them or pump them. We pick on them. Man, you a buster. You want to let her do you like that? Man, you a sucker. Now, we turn women say they want equality. You see a lot of women trying to, we heard this for years. Oh, I'd rather have guy best friends than female best friends because females start so much. But people forget women used to say that. But if you got a lot of women that stay around guys, then they should understand, no, you don't do that. But a lot of those women that say that and do that still think they're supposed to get partial and differential treatment. And it's like, well, why? Well, I'm a woman. Then you need to go hang around some females because there's men over here, and we don't do that over here. If we over here clowning and you can't take it, don't try to jump in and think you one of the guys because you're not. Because I see women do that. If a woman jump in, she making jokes and say she say something, and all the guys laugh, and then the guy be like, "Oh, okay, I got you." Then he say something back. She gonna be looking hurt. But you want equality. So if we telling men the same thing, get away from that woman, why would we not tell you that? Get away from him. You don't have to take that. Leave him alone. Then it's, oh, see, here go that male chauvinistic pig stuff. You putting it all on me. You shaming the victim. Where if we do it to men and you want equality, then why would we not do it to you? You are not Bambi. We're not supposed to protect you like, oh, they just put out an order to stop hunting animals. No, you're a human being, and there are crazy guys out here, just like there are crazy women out here that we have to stay away from. Let crazy people have crazy people. Like the whole situation with Southside and Lil Uzi Vert. Listen, I don't feel sorry for nan one of those Negroes, and I definitely don't care about the city girls. So they're both crazy. Southside and Young Miami, Lil Uzi Vert and JT. Let them crazy idiots have each other. That's what we got to realize. Crazy people like that, let them have each other. That's why I'm glad Quavo got out of the situation with Sweetie, because apparently he don't like that kind of drama in his relationship. So he left. That's what you're supposed to do. And then while he was trying to get his stuff, she was trying to stop him from taking his own stuff. So what does that tell you? Even though Quavo from the hood and all that, he wanted Amigos, even he don't like all that drama. So I respect the brother because Offset is the one bringing drama to him and Cardi B relationship. So it looks like he's just a terrible person, even though you can look online and see Cardi B butt naked all the time. I like Cardi B, don't get me wrong. But when we just analyze it and taking out what I personally feel about Cardi B or Offset, because I like the Migos too. But if I just take all those personal feelings out and just look at the situation, Offset and Cardi B should be together. She's crazy, he's crazy. But Quavo and Sweetie, Quavo's like, you ain't the chick I thought you was. I'm good on that. That's how it needs to be. But Young Miami and Southside, Lil Uzi Vert and JT, they need each other. Let crazy people have crazy people. If you're a decent person, if you're a decent woman, especially sister, you don't want drama in your life. you're not gonna cause drama either. You're gonna walk away from it. But if drama keep following you, the common denominator is you. It's not everybody else. Because I met women who, this man is trash. This man is this man is that. And I'm looking at it like, hold on. You can't sit there and tell me you dated 20 guys and all 20 guys was messed up, but it wasn't you. Apparently, it's something about you. Like they say, relationships are reflective. So if you're having problem in your relationships in your life, whether it's who you're dating, married to, friends, family, the common denominator is you. Because I've seen females who don't have the same friends that they grew up with. I got the same homeboys I grew up with. All my closest, my circle, everybody I've known no less than 10 years. Everybody. And my closest homies, I knew since I was either, like, they was family or friends that I knew since elementary or when I became a young man. Like, one of my most recent homeboys, I knew them since 2000, since 99, 2000. So what does that take? But a lot of other females don't even have the same homegirls that they grew up with. So that should tell you something as well. So this is what people have to look at. When you have a situation where women talking crazy to men because they can get away with stuff like that more than men can. Or if you see a man that talks crazy to a woman and a woman that talks crazy to a man, they both crazy. They both toxic. We can't just put it on men. Like, I've dated women that think they can talk disrespectful to their fathers, and I wasn't having that. I'm like, listen, you can't do that around me. If you're going to do that, y'all better do that somewhere else because you're not going to disrespect that man around me like that. And he's taking care of his responsibilities. Because if he wasn't, he wouldn't be here. So I think that that's important because what women don't realize, you're teaching your sons to take that disrespect. And I notice a lot of women don't want their sons to be disrespected like that, but you're doing it. All these battles and fights you're having with your baby daddies and dudes you date or the dudes on social media and society, what you're not realizing is you're perpetuating that to a point that when your child get older and he starts dating, guess what he's going to go through? And then you're going to be conflicted because you're going to be like, no, that's not cool. Like Kevin Samuels always asks women. So you saying you got children and you should be able to find a man that's going to provide all of this stuff for you. So he had to break it down. So he said, what if your son graduated highest of high in his college, is a lawyer, doctor, and then he's about 27, 28, and he brings home a 44, 45-year-old woman that has 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. And you're going to be okay with that? And you cannot believe how many women would try to say, well, this the go-to, whatever makes him happy. And he like, you lying. You know doggone well you would look at your son crazy if he did that. But you're saying that because you want that special treatment. And women don't think about that. So this is why red pill, this is for the guys. This ain't really for women. And the reason being because we don't have enough platforms, you know what I'm saying, talking to men, because guess what? On YouTube, we're doing it. But national platforms where you can see women like on Real Talk, The View, Oprah Winfrey, from Sally Jesse to even Geraldo Pump Behind, trying to be a white knight, when the way they did Shahrazad Ali. Come on, man. It's okay to get out there and talk trash about men because women spend so much money. It's okay to do that. Even though we push the economy forward more, it's okay to talk trash to us. So guys, hey, we can only say be smart. Learn from what Paul Pierce did and don't be stupid. Don't be out here when you got stuff to lose, out here doing stuff. Keep the
Right.
professional thing. Don't let them see you sweat.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much our show today for the day, guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep learning, man. Keep learning, keep growing, keep trying to be better brothers for yourself, your family, your community, especially your kids. Do the best you can. Keep God first and stay red pill. You know what I'm saying? Don't stay away from that blue pill mess. If you decide to deal with a woman, she got
Right.
to be on your program. But that means you got to get yourself together first, because if a woman ain't right, you will have more options. All right. So this your boy
Right.
JTL. Say goodbye to the people,
It's
AG.
your man HD.
Don't say it because I know you're gonna say something crazy. I know you.
Nah.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. We out.